Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're taking a look at the 2023 version of Baker's 13. Dustin comes in at 53.5% ABV, and there's a barrel number on here that I'm not going to read, but we can put in the description if you're not lazy about it.
I'm lazy. That thing's like 7 numbers. I'm not doing it.
Sounds about right, Dustin. All right, 107 proof, Dustin Baker's 13, 2023 release. Lovely bottle. I really like the cork.
What is with this tag? It's like a dog tag, but it's like a square.
So you're not going to lose it, man.
I guess.
I'd rather just put on the bottle. I think the chance of it breaking the bottle is greater than my chance of remembering that number.
I wonder if it's cheaper to do something like that than it is to like print different labels for every barrel. I wonder if that's actually the reasoning. Because if they're scale, maybe that's actually cheaper. I don't know.
Send them an email. They came here for the whiskey. Baker's 13, Dustin.
I used to actually know a guy in the finance department for their packaging. I actually could email, but I don't. He left.
Good. I can do selling boxes. All right, Dustin, what can you tell us about this particular whiskey?
Yeah, so Baker's a couple years ago did their first release of this. All Baker's are 107 proof, Mike. It's I forget the details of it. As you kind of know, the differentiation for the different Beam products is whether it was released. Whether they barreled it at cask strength or added some water, whether they added water after, and then where it sits in the rick house. And that's because it's all the same mash bill. I believe Baker's has water on entry and on the end too, whereas I think Knob Creek goes in at barrel proof and then gets proof down, but I could be wrong. The thing that really matters here, Mike, it's Baker's, Jim Beam, 13 years old, and it's a single barrel.
Our second Jim Beam of the evening.
Yeah, a little different.
Yeah, when we had to pour it off a car, forgot to use a funnel.
I still don't think the funnel would have helped.
It would have.
It would help maybe a little. I think it would have overflowed.
We were going to get messy.
Yeah, it was going to spill. It was just a matter of how much. It's a good thing your wife does not watch these videos.
Never.
This is really like, there's a heavy, like, waxy fruit note here that I do not recognize with Beam.
Yeah, there is what I thought was a cinnamon apple. Cinnamon red apple.
Caramel dipped apple.
Dipped.
And maybe that caramel, they used a little bit of wax so they could like ship it and keep it like nice and like pretty on the presentation.
Maybe it wasn't even real.
I think it was real. I hope so. We're about to taste this.
Nice bubblegum vanilla.
Yeah. Very, very cinnamony though, you're right. Not super nutty like you get on Beams a lot of times.
I have not picked up that.
More spices, red apple fruits, a little waxiness, wax paper kind of notes coming through here. I don't get a lot of vanilla either. Some caramel, yes, but vanilla it's kind of light on.
Quite a bit of candies. Assortment of candies here. Hard candies.
Maybe a little butterscotch coming through.
Yeah, I can see that.
Werther's.
A light cinnamon candy mixed with a vanilla. Yeah, I can see light butterscotch too.
Nice hint of oak char, but actually for 13 years, it's actually coming through with very little on the oak side. So
a little bit of cherry cough drop.
I'm guessing these maybe are more centrally located. They're not higher on the rick house, I guess. They're definitely not over oaked by any stretch.
Definitely not over oaked. 13 years, you wouldn't have picked it up on the nose as far as the oak note at all.
Yeah.
Nice, pleasant oak note. Gives you nothing that feels ultra aged.
No, I mean you can tell there's some oak here, but it's this barrel was definitely had life in it. Almost juicy, dare I say.
There's a bubblegum note like I mentioned earlier. Yeah,
because sometimes when you get 13-year-old bourbons, you start getting a little bit of dryingness on the
chalky
nose, and it's not that really. I mean, and Beam's kind of dry by default. This one's juicy for a Beam.
Yeah, it comes off very sweet, very candied on the nose. Yeah. Very fall carnival, apples, caramels, walking down the candy line.
I mean, Beam's been killing it with just putting out more and more aged whiskey the last few years. So, the Baker's here, 13-year, it's right in line with the fact they've been putting out 15 and 17-year-old and 18-year-old whiskeys left and right.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm loving this right now. Beam is at its like peak of all time in terms of putting out aged whiskey.
Anything they throw out 12 years or older. I mean, basically for any modern bourbons, 12 years older is such a great spot to be in.
Oh, it really is. And classic older bourbons, I mean, 12 was always just a magical place. Like if somebody's making sure they're not letting a barrel go too far, so they're making sure those barrels don't do well. So it's the
better barrels.
Yeah, the barrels that don't make it, they're part of like the black and the regular, the white labels. That's cool. But for the connoisseur, they've been really doing a good job.
I've always said 12-year-old bourbon's a staple like 18-year-old whiskey. Like, this is good old, this is good aged whiskey. Mm-hmm. And that's all just because of recharge versus, fresh barrels or fresh oak. But
climate.
Yeah. Well, all right. But you getting 13 amp, what is this? Equivalent of 21-year-old scotch?
Oh, yeah. Ooh, boy.
What are you picking up?
Man, punchy. I'd forgotten how punchy this is. At 107, I wasn't expecting too much of a punch, but yeah. Big, bold. Oak's a little heavier than initially on the nose, but it's not bad. The cinnamon is turned way up here. The apple dialed down, but it's still there. It's definitely red apples, too. It's not a green apple. Some toaster strudel notes in there, sweetness. But yeah, it's spice, oak. Spice first, oak. I don't get the Jim Beam nuttiness, though, at all, Mike. It's really, that nuttiness is not coming through. A little bit of dustiness, though.
Buddy, it's real sweet on the palate. The second you swallow, you get Jim Beam nuttiness. The second you swallow, you know exactly what it is you're drinking. And that fades away pretty quick, but right when you swallow, it's right there.
I got the Beam Rickhouse dustiness. I didn't get the peanut, though.
Oh, it was all there. The second you swallow, because again, it's super candy. The second you swallow, it is Jim Beam, peanut. First time I drank with my buddy mixing it with Coke. I know that flavor.
I got you, man.
And then it just quickly sachets into some nice sweetness. It's just there and it's gone, to let you know, hey, man, this is who made this.
Yeah. I got Beam Profile, but I didn't get that distinct peanut.
Oh, right when you swallow. Quick swell, Beam, and then...
It was Beam, it just wasn't peanut. Because there's a fruity dustiness to Beam that I got heavy on here. Now, that said...
Right at the beginning, it was dusty, and then...
That said, a little drop of water, Mike. That peanut shell's starting to come through. But yeah, it's actually really pleasant. Water really, I think, brought this together, that waxiness, which, I wasn't loving, didn't dislike. It's faded.
It smelled thick, but it didn't feel thick on the palate. The viscosity changed.
I got a punch of flavor, though, man. It is full-bodied.
I'm not saying it wasn't flavored. It was, it was a good shot. The viscosity was just standard. I would guess for what I would expect for the ABV.
Well, 107 is not super strong for bourbon.
I mean, so 50% though.
Yeah, but bourbon, 50% for bourbon is 46 for Scotch.
And this is 53.
Yep.
It's solid. It has a good backbone. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying it came off higher on the nose.
I'll be honest. The punch of spice there at the front, I kind of wasn't even looking for the oiliness at that point. It was just such an intense, spicy, rich punch. I gotta say, man, water in the nose has really come together. I am loving this with a drop of water.
I was always so negative about Beam just because it was the first whiskey I ever had in my life and it was a great experience. And I picked a little bit of that up in every one of them. You know what I mean? Every one of them was there to some degree. It's like stepping on a nail. You know it's gonna hurt. Just how much is it gonna hurt?
Yeah, the Beam character comes out more with water, but there's this interesting fruit note on the finish and the mid palate that I really like. I mean, dare I say it's hinting on a watermelon. It's kind of going in that direction, like a weird candied watermelon, like somebody's, artificial flavoring to get there with good old fashioned Jim Beam. I like it.
I'm going to go so far as watermelon, Dustin, but...
I'm trying to come up with something that's not like red fruit or something. Maybe it's cran apple. No, it's more watermelon than that. I don't know, man. Maybe a red version of the mystery flavor from Airheads.
I mean, I could see almost watered down grape soda.
I'm not getting grape.
That sweetness it's a little redder, but I mean, as far as a drink that I could say, that would be the closest one I could come to. Maybe
grape tea a thing, maybe, because there's a lot of tea spice here too. Black tea.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun whiskey, Mike. It's really complex, very layered. but it's very distinctly Jim Beam.
Gotta like Jim Beam. The more water you put in, the more Jim Beam it feels like. I still get a little bit of a bubblegum note here at the end. And I tell you what, that Jim Beam swell, when you swallow it, it's not the same with water as it was neat. Not even close.
It's different.
All I'm saying is if you're looking to find it, you weren't going to find it now.
So I got more actually with water.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, you probably concentrated on it.
It's on the finish. There's just more classic Beam notes on the finish that... There's a profile that I swear has to come from the rick houses. There's nowhere else it could come from because it's not the mash bill. It's got to be the rick house. Or maybe it's the yeast. I don't know. But there's just a very distinct... Not the nuttiness, but like there's a fruity, spicy, dusty, drying effect that Beam has. It's got to be coming from those rick houses. I've never been to Jim Beam's rick houses. In fact, I don't think I've ever been to Jim Beam's distillery now that I think about it. I've been to a lot of distilleries. I don't think I've been to Beam. I need to put that on my bucket list.
We should go there and take a picture.
Yeah, I just want to go inside their rick houses and smell it to see if it smells like that note I'm getting here, because I bet you it does.
I bet it smells amazing.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Dustin. You're a whiskey, so let me go first as far as a whiskey score. I've been kicking the same ball all day. I've been between an 86 and an 87 on this one. I'm going to go 87. This is one of the better bourbons. Obviously, you pick up the age. Quite a few things that they like about a good oak note, good sweetness on it, good balance. It handled water pretty well, which you'd hope for an older whiskey at a higher ABV. Really not a lot of things that are pleasant. If you like Jim Beam, you're going to score this way higher than me. But super solid bourbon, 87 out of 100.
Right there with you. 87 for me as well. It doesn't have those antique leather notes and just really like rich notes that some better bourbons get with age. It's just a really good version of Jim Beam. It is fruitier than like a Knob Creek and way fruitier than like Booker's. This is actually a really good expression. But I don't know. I don't get 13 years on it, Mike.
I was about to say, I would have never guessed this at 13 years old.
No, I mean, it's a little richer and it's got a little more depth than like the 7-year, which, mind you, usually are like 8 or 9 years old, that you pick up for like $60. This is $150. I don't think you're getting the value proposition improvement from the standard releases if you get one of those 8-9-year-old regular bakers. That said, I don't think it's a terrible price in the bourbon world today to pay up for this one. I probably wouldn't do it again. I think they're actually putting out some better stuff in the Knob Creek line and in that Hardin's Creek line now than this. So this is probably one that I think is overpriced in the Jim Beam world, but it's pretty good. And again, in the bourbon market, this is a cool one to have, and love the top, love the bottle, but I won't be buying another one of these until this one is long gone.
You show up or sign up for the Ohio lottery?
I did.
God, I hope I win. I want that King Kentucky so bad.
Oh, yeah.
So long as we brought the folks one.
I even made the stupid decision. I said, you know what? I'll buy the mixtures 25 or 20 if they'll sell it to me.
I did too. What do you mean? I'll buy that all day. If I win a mixtures 25, I'm just throwing down $2,500. We're reviewing it.
Now, you did leave off that one, though, right?
$4,000 one?
$4,000.
I can buy it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Trust me, we're on the same page.
Oh, yeah.
Adam, help me out.
Now, I really would love to get that rye, that Sazerac rye.
Yeah, dude.
I've heard that the old releases of that are just mind-blowing good.
There were 10 bottles. If I win any of them, we're reviewing it.
Oh, I can't wait.
Anyway, those are our thoughts on this Baker's 13-year-old 2023 edition. If you guys had a chance to try this one, we'd like to know what you guys think. Dustin, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy drinking.
We'll see you next time.